Hey headphone people, Mr. Eric here. Got a quick review for you of a DAC. I suppose this could be considered the next part in my Do DACs Matter series. I don't really, off the top of my head, know how many I have at this point, 4 or 5 of them, so this maybe is like 5 or 6. But I've got, had the opportunity, thanks to a friend of the channel, to try out a Chord Qutest recently. Now, if you know anything about Chord products, you know their DACs start to get pretty pricey when you get into their desktop DACs. They're all, as far as I can tell, wonderful products, certainly wonderfully made. The question here becomes, like this DAC, which I think retails for, I don't know, it's over $1,000, you know, maybe like $1,500. Like, how does this compare to something like the Bifrost 2? Is it a step up? Is it the same? Does it blow it out of the water? How does it compare? That was kind of like what I really wanted to know here, and so that's what we'll talk about, right? Let's take a look at the device here first, and then we'll move into sound. I do want to spend a little bit of time, you know, just looking at the design of this guy. I think it's worth spending a little bit of time to just appreciate the craftsmanship and the design of these Chord products. They, you know, it probably doesn't come through in the video, but like to hold these Chord products in your hand, and this was the same thing for the Mojo, right? Like, they have a quality to them that I don't feel like I have felt matched anywhere else with any other devices I've tried in this hobby. They feel so incredibly solid and well built, and they are unique and interesting, and I really appreciate that they just have, you know, just a great quality to them. Now, it's a pretty small device, right? It's not it's not very large. It's definitely smaller than, you know, like a Bifrost or something like that. It's probably closer to the size of a Modi, honestly. But it's a little bit taller. It's thick. It's dense. It's machined out of solid metal. Seems like to me. You know, and then of course they've got it's pretty simple as far as control-wise, right? You got a couple of the marble buttons on here, one for input, one for filter. You've got a little window here that looks into the electronics, and that changes color depending on what your bitrate and things are. And then on the back, you've got just a couple of different things. You've got USB in, you've got these BNC cables in. I'm not really familiar with those. I assume Chord has some other products that probably match up well with those, but I've never used those BNC cables with anything else. Optical in, RCA out, and this is actually, I believe, an optical out to this coax. Like that's a coax out, and then 5-volt in. Now I do want to take a moment and plug this guy in just so you can kind of get a sense for like what the buttons and everything looks like as you're using it, because it's pretty cool. Okay, so you can see it kind of go through its little startup here, and you can see the different colors that it kind of cycles through. It really does look quite cool when it's sitting on your desk, and it throws off an interesting glow. Now, I'm not going to actually plug it into a source, so we're not going to see that, but at least you get the idea of what that looks like in here. Now, we go back up and we take a look at these filter buttons, right? You got a few different filters that you can play with. You can see that it changes color with the filter you select. I did, contrary to like a lot of DACs, I did actually notice a difference between these filters. So you got about 4 different ones to choose from that, you know, do things like soften it up a bit, make it a little more lively. You know, just know that they actually make a difference. I just left it on the standard one, but you know, you might have a different preference, and that's definitely something worth playing with if you get it. And then input, you know, kind of same thing. You push the little orb, and it cycles through your different inputs and things like that. And then, like I said, depending on your bit rate and things, the color of the actual kind of glowing middle there will change. So that is about it for the device. Wonderfully made, feels amazing. How does it sound? I would say, and again, this is mostly done with like the stock filter setting, I would say that it sounds incredibly close to the Bifrost 2. To the point where I'm not sure it's worth like really belaboring the differences a whole lot. Both of these DACs are extremely clear, sound extremely natural. The one edge that I would give to the Qutest is I would say that it has it squeezes out like just a smidge, little twinkle more detail out of things. It's got just a little bit more of kind of an edge to the notes and things like that, and just kind of that last little fine tip of things is, I guess, how I would think of it. So if you're thinking about like sharpening like a knife blade, this would be like both this and the Bifrost would be have an extremely precise blade to them, right? I don't want you to get the impression that these DACs sound sharp, right? But just thinking about a blade, like a honed blade, they're both honed extremely well, extremely precise. But the Qutest has just that one last pass that gives it just that razor edge of precision to it. And I guess that's the best way I can describe it. Again, I think it's a very subtle thing. I think maybe the bass is just a little bit cleaner. Just a little bit cleaner. And so I would say the Bifrost has just a slightly more relaxed sound to it. And again, I'm talking very, very, very minor. Very minor, right? I'm speaking, it's all hyperbole because the differences between these are so small, and I want to emphasize that. But there is a difference, okay? There is a difference. So I guess when it comes down to it for me, I'm just going to stick with the Bifrost, right? Like, I don't see a need to upgrade to the Qutest as much as I appreciate the design, and I do think it sounds good. I actually feel like I preferred the slightly more relaxed sound of the Bifrost to the Qutest. But again, it's very, very minor. But, I bought my Bifrost for about $550. Qutest, on the used market, you're still looking at like $1,000 at least, let alone what the retail is of them. Is it an amazing device? Yes. Is it beautifully made? Yes. Is it, wonderfully machined and designed? Yes, 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 yes. All of that. It sounds great. Is it worth twice as much as the Bifrost? I don't think so. Not for me. But I am really thankful that I had the chance to try it just so I could know, going up a little bit more in price. Is it going to get me that much further with my sound? For me, I think the answer is no. The Bifrost stands as the DAC that I'm sticking with for the time being. I would be shocked if that changes anytime soon. So yeah, Qutest, an amazing little device, beautiful, sounds wonderful, but ultimately, for me, not worth twice the price of the Bifrost, but still a fantastic device. If you have one, I'm sure you're extremely happy with it. If you have a Bifrost, I don't think you should really worry about upgrading, at least not to something like this. Alternative opinions, thoughts, comments, concerns, any of those things, drop those down below. Thank you for dropping in and hanging out with me a little bit. Be sure to subscribe if you want some more headphone content in the near future. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.